So I've one further question I'm proposing to ask from those suggested to me. Lord Clarke, it's this. You made observations in your evidence, I think yesterday, which were suggestive that you saw the inquiry as a vehicle for campaigners to advance compensation claims. Do you accept that you have no knowledge whatsoever of the motivations either of campaigners or of the multiple infected and affected people, many of whom would no doubt say, if you were to ask them, that they are fighting for truth and accountability?
I think that's I hope that's a slight parody of what I said yesterday. But obviously, I'm not attacking the motivation of the people involved. I mean, the victims and their relatives have my sympathy and support. But one of the things that's been referred here is one of the things in your terms of reference, like you told me yesterday, is whether more compensation should be given, because more compensation, as I understand it, was being sought, perhaps by lawyers acting on behalf of the victims from the government. And someone in Theresa May's government decided to transfer the decision on whether or not to give any more money to this inquiry. But I mean, I'm not traducing, trying to traduce or undermine the motives of any of the people campaigning. I do understand. I'm sorry that 30, 40 years later they're having such difficulties in living with the consequences for them and their families of the tragedy. And campaigning is, I suspect, something of an outlet for their feelings about this disaster that struck them or someone they've lost.
So that's the last question I have. I think there may be an application to be made by a representative of some of the core participants under Rule 10 to answer, to be permitted to ask a question of Lord Clarke directly.
Yes, well, in that case, I think what we shall do is invite Lord Clarke to have lunch. I will determine the application, hear it, determine it, whatever it is, and we'll come back with Lord Clarke. I'm sorry for the delay, at 2:10.
Can I just make a submission on it? One or two items have been submitted to me for comment. They haven't been raised in the hearing. For me to comment on things been said, at least one of them, I personally thought was mere abuse. Rather than an inquiry after the truth. So I don't mind. I mean, anybody asking a civilised and relevant question, it's entirely for you. It's nothing to do with me anyway. It's entirely a matter for the chair and you to decide. But I mean, don't allow someone going for a publicity stunt or start hurling mere abuse at me. I'm sure I quite unnecessarily making this point.
Look,
one of the letters sent to me, which I was asked to respond to, were quite. I mean, I personally put it in the category of abuse.
I have no idea what was in any letters sent to you. I don't ask.
No, it was put to me by the inquiry. I would have put it in the waste paper basket.
There is a process under the inquiry rules by which somebody may ask.
No. Otherwise, I'm saying too much again. It's entirely a matter for you, Chair, and I shall respect your decision.
But that's the way we'll deal with it, as I say, is Lord Clarke, if you would wish to, if you would please withdraw, it's not necessary for you to hear whatever the application may be. So if you would withdraw and have
I'll withdraw, yes, whilst the application is made. Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And 2:10, I think, because it may take. I don't know how long it'll be, so we'll take an early lunch, I'm afraid.